Hello, welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy and the continuing saga of the Floral Butterfly Journal remake. And I am going to go ahead and show you what I've already done. I took some of the book pages from inside this book and I tore them to size. I didn't cut them, I tore them to size, because I want to cover up that. Now, you won't be able to really see what it says. You'll just see that it's book page under there. And I am going to cover up that blue strip. Oh my goodness. I am putting together a playlist of how I am remaking my journal. And so I will have that linked in the description below. Let's see, I think this side had a word that, just in case, I want to make sure that, and I could be wrong, it could be that I changed that paper out completely because I didn't want it to be inappropriate. Even though it's going to be covered up, you know, I just really worry sometimes that something's going to show that I don't want to show. And so I just try not to use it. Now I have this lace, and actually that's the last of the lace. And you won't see much of this either. I'm going to put that over the outside, or over the outside, over the paper that I just put down. And so I'm going to take scissors, and I'm actually, these are pinking shears, and I'm going to cut that across there, not because I want the jaggedy edges, but because I want it to look similar to that. And I can do this after using the pinking shears, and it doesn't look like I just lopped it off with a pair of scissors. And then I will use this elsewhere in this journal. I'll set that aside. And I am going to use my Fabri-Tac, whoops. Don't open that, because then all the glue will come out, and that won't be a good thing. That's not trash, that's trash. And I know that that lace is going to cover pretty much all of the book page, but the thicker part is right along here. And so I'm going to make sure that I put plenty of glue there, and then I'm just going to kind of skim over that center part since it's a little bit more of an open work area. All right, and I'm going to set that aside to dry. This is the back page of the book. This is where the spine was. This is where I tore all the pages out. And I have an idea. Let me get my little trash can over here. And what I want to do is I want to tear those little bits and pieces of page off so that I can get it fairly flat. I want it to still look like it's the inside of the spine. I must still have glue. I must have glue on here somewhere. It's very sticky. Yep, I can feel it. So I'm going to tear off most of these page ends, and then I will be right back. I think that is just a really, really cool looking texture. I'm not done with it. I am going to add just a little bit to the look. I'm getting some old paper Distress Oxide. I'm just going to kind of pounce it on there. It's going to pick up some of the green that's in there. And now I have some Victorian Velvet, which I think is going to pick up some of the pink that's in there. And then I've got one more color that I want to add, because there is just a hint of blue in this, but there's also blue in this. And there's the pink and the green that I've already used. And so I'm going to pick up a little bit of blue. Not a lot, just a little bit, a hint. I like that. I like that a lot. And now I am going to go ahead and close this. I've let it dry flat first so that that lace could set, the glue could set holding on that lace. I don't know if that's considered lace. I think it is. It looks like lace. And I am going to just glue that right on there. Make sure that it's centered on there. Now I'm going to put a weight on it so that it will dry nice and flat. Let's see, there's one. That's not quite long enough. I need, here. Do this and this, and then put that on top, and that should work, I would think. All right, we're going to set that over there and get this ready. I am trying to figure out how I want to take care of the edges on this. If I want to just cut it off there, which I think may be the best solution, and then I'll just do something on the edge so that it's not a raw edge. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I better close that glue. Get my cutting mat. See, I remembered it this time before I cut on my silicone mat. I need a ruler. Whoops. I need to clean my studio. I have friends that are going to be here today to stay a week with me, and I'm so stinking excited. And I'm hoping that they, well, not hoping, I know that they will not judge me about my studio because they get it. All right, let's try this one, the roller cutter. Let's make sure that I'm all lined up. Let's see, let's do this. Let's use the lines on the cutting mat. That's what they're for, right? I'm gonna put that right there, lined up against that. And then I can use my ruler, and I'm going to cut right here, which is just past that bent edge. Bent edge, I guess that's what it would be. Whoops, I want to go this way. So that I've got room if I need to come back, I can take a little more off, but it's hard to put a little bit back on if you take off too much. I don't know if my head's getting in the frame. I'm having trouble for some reason keeping my head out. Supposed to get your head in the game, not your head in the frame. Oh, that was a nice clean cut. I will have to do something on that edge, but I like that. That turned out. So I'll do the same thing on this cover. Whoops, I shifted. Shifty, shifty. Of course, that one didn't cut as neatly as the other one. Let's see if I can get it lined up so that I can cut right on there. I think it's because I didn't push hard enough the first time. Yeah, okay. Since it has this gold embossing here, I have gold washi tape. I think that I am going to just wrap that edge with a little bit of that gold washi tape. Just need to figure out which is going to match the best. Actually, I think this is the only solid gold washi tape that I have. And that's a skinny one. So, let's see. These are just metallics. They're not all gold. So, I think I'll use that one. I like it. Washi tape does not stick permanently on its own, usually. So I am adding glue stick to it. I'm going to line that up right with the points of the little oval design. Wrap it around. And then just trim off the excess. Goodness, sorry about that. It's loud. I think that looks good. Do the same on this one. Yes, I like that. That looks good. All right. So now, whoops, yeah, see? I'm gonna have to re-glue that, but it's okay. It'll be okay. Just a little more glue. And so the cover is going to go here, just like that, and it's going to open up, and look, you can see see the washi tape right there, and I like that. I like that a lot. But I'm not just going to glue this on here. I am going to use some brads at each of the corners to make sure that it stays on nice and secure. I am going to go ahead and glue this first and then punch my holes for the brads so that I know that everything lines up as it should. All right, so I'm going to put glue around the edge here. And because I'm using the brads, I'm not going to have to use a whole lot of glue, but I do still want it held together. And since I've got that glue there, now I can glue around this outer edge here. Whoops. Occasionally missing the mark. And just lining that up just like that. Yeah. I have excess glue in here, but I can get that off because that was such a narrow margin over there. And the good thing about Fabri-Tac is it's easy to remove it after the fact. All right, and so I'm going to put my weight back on there. Actually, I'm going to do that, like that. And then I can go ahead and put this one on as well. I'll be doing the same thing with it. But for this one, since there's not an opening to work around, I can just put all the glue on here. And again, I'm using the brads, so I don't have to use a whole lot of glue. That should be plenty. If I was not using the brads, I would probably use a little more glue to hold that on there. In this case, that one will work. Now we'll let that dry. So I'm pretty sure that that's set enough for me to be messing around with it. We'll find out shortly, I guess. I really like how that turned out. Oh, and I only got 4 brads, and I need to have 8. I use the tweezers because it's easier than trying to get my fingers in there to dig them out. So I have a We Are Memory Keepers. I think it's We Are Makers now, but this still says Memory Keepers because I've had it for a little while. Crocodile punch, and I am going to use the smaller one, 1/8 inch, there we go, the 1/8 inch punch to make a hole. And actually I'm going to have to get my big bite or my big chomp or whatever it's called out because that's thicker than this will handle. It is a Crocodile 2. I don't know. I guess I thought it had a name like Big Chomp, Big Bite, something like that. Still going to use the 1/8 inch. And I'll be lining it up right here. If you've never used one of these, that's how it works. And I'm just eyeballing it. But I'm going to come right about the corner. Right about the corner. Right about there. Whew. Yeah, that was thick. And I'm going to do that on all 4 corners of each cover. There is somebody whose YouTube channel I watch, and right now I can't think of who it is, that says perfection is not at play in the studio. So I kind of like to live by that. If I can remember who it was, I will link her. I'm going to have to sweep my floor. So I'm going to put a brad through each of these holes. I'm just getting rid of that excess fabric tack right there. It kind of rolls up. You just gently roll on it. And you end up with a little ball of glue, just like that. One of the things that I really like about using fabric tack is that I can clean it up really, really easily. So I don't worry about getting too much glue usually. Let's see. And I needed to re-glue that. Oh, that came up because the paper came up. I must not have put enough glue on the paper. Did that one stay down? Yep, I just missed that spot on the paper. All right, and there is our cover thus far. I think that I am still going to come back through and do a little bit more on the cover, just add a little bit to it. But even if I didn't, I think that looks really, really nice. I love the way the back turned out. It's very different, but I think it adds a lot. That just doesn't want to stick down. I may just have to show it who's boss here after a while. But I'm liking the way that the cover's turning out, or that the cover has turned out. And so next I'll be moving on to adding in the pages. And no, these will not be left like that. I will be doing something to hide those. All right, but there we go. Really happy with that. Thank you for joining me today. And as always, be kind. Bye.